Gimel. These contract tuma and convey tuma, but do not combine. The roots of garlic, onions, and leek when they are dry, and the stalk that is not directly opposite the food, and the handle of a grapevine branch, a handbreadth on either side of the handle of a cluster of grapes, whatever its length may be, and the tail of a cluster that one had bared, and four handbreadths of the handle of the broom of the date palm, and these handbreadths of the stalk of an ear of grain, and three handbreadths of the handle of all crops that are cut. And those crops for which it is not their norm to be cut, their handles and their roots, whatever their length may be, and the bristles of ears of grain, these contract tuma and convey tuma, but do not combine. These do not contract tuma and do not convey tuma and do not combine. The roots of kohlrabi stems and the regenerating roots of spinach, beet, and turnip, those plants that are normally clipped but were uprooted. Rabbi Yossi rules all of them tamei, but rules the roots of kohlrabi stems and turnips tahor. All handles of food that were one crushed on the threshing floors are tahor, and Rabbi Yossi rules the crushed stalks tamei. A snippet of a cluster of grapes that one bared is tahor, but if one left a single berry on it, it is tamei. A spigot of dates that one barrel barred is tahor, but if one
Here.
left on a single date, it's tamei.
Mm.
Beer, right, is tahor, but if one left on a single date is tamei. And to two with legumes, a pod that one bared is tahor, and one left on a single berry, it is tamei. Reb Eliezer ben Arizeh rules the pot of fava beans tahor and rules the pot of other beans tamei because the person desires the feel of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let's do Gimel Ches. That's yesterday's stuff.
Wait.
Yeah, you went to
I missed it.
you went to the beginning instead of to the end of Uktzin. So it's okay. That's part of the Chazara anyway. But
Okay. I'm sorry. Gimel
Gimel
test.
Ches.
Okay. I'm gonna put this over here.
Fish.
Okay. Gimel. Okay. Gimel Vav.
Gimel Ches.
Gimel
We're looking for
Ayin.
the fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gimel Ches. Okay. Number 8. Okay. This is what I'm doing. From when do fish contract tumas Oakland? Beis Shammai says from when they are caught. Beis Hillel says from when they die, and Reb Kiva says when they are able to live. Regarding a branch of a fig tree that was torn off but was still attached by its peel, Reb Yehuda rules a tahor, but the comments say only if it can live. Grain that was uprooted but is attached by even a small root is tahor. Caleb of a kosher animal is not tummy with tuma of nevela, therefore it requires hechsher. Caleb of a non-kosher species, which is tummy with the tuma of nevela, therefore it does not require hechsher. And non-kosher fish and non-kosher grasshoppers require thought in villages. Regarding a beehive, where Elia says it is like land, and we may write a prosable based on it, and it is not susceptible to tuma in the place, and one who detaches honey from it on the Sabbath is liable to a sin offering. But the comments say it is not like land, and we may not write a prose bill based on it, and it is susceptible to tuma in its place, and one who removes honey from it on the Sabbath is not liable to a sin offering. Okay.
Okay. Chalos dvash. Honeycombs.
Right.
So when in its natural state, a honeycomb is a solid that's got liquid absorbed into it. Okay, but honey is one of your seven liquids that can be machshir v'tumah, and automatically, once it can be machshir, it itself is immediately susceptible to tumah once it becomes honey. So the question is, what's the dividing line? What's the point at which it transitions from being honeycomb to honey? Okay. So this is from the point when he. So yicharcher is not a common word. Some say that when he smokes it to get the bees out of the hive,
Mhm.
because then it looks like he's already starting from the word he's starting a fight with the bees. So
Yeah.
so at that point, Beis Shammai say that he's already displayed intent for the honey, and now the honey stops being honeycomb and it becomes honey. Beis Shammai yicharcher. Others interpret yicharcher as heating up the honeycomb in order to start getting the honey out. Okay, Beis Hillel omrim misha yirasek, only from the point where he actually starts crushing the honeycomb, and then
Right.
the honey starts coming out. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, this is what we did for the Siyum. Said Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Asid HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahanchil l'chol tzadik v'tzadik shalosh me'os v'asar olamas. Every tzadik in the world is going to receive an inheritance of 310 worlds. Shenemar lahanchil ohavayesh. The the word yesh seems to be extra in this pasuk of what Hashem is going to give all of those who love Him. So the 310 is taken here as an interpretation of the amount of reward that the tzaddik will receive in Olam Haba, and 310 is sort of directionally accurate in terms of the amount, the fact that it's worth way more than any kind of pleasure that you could imagine in this world. Okay, and I will fill their storehouses. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Chalafta, Lo matzah Kadosh Baruch Hu kli machzik bracha l'Yisrael ela hashalom. The best kli that can hold all of a person's blessings in this world is shalom. Without shalom, you don't have anything. Shenemar Hashem oz li'amo yitena Hashem yivarech esam b'shalom. Hashem gives strength to His people. Hashem blesses His people with peace. Hadran alach maseches Uktzin. Hadran alach shisha sidrei Mishna. Okay. All right.
Where are we going tomorrow with?
Well, we're going to
These two for
doing one Mishnah in Berachos.
We're going to
Yeah, right now.
One Berachos. Okay.
Yeah, you want to go and get
right
it?
now. So let me pull it out. I have this.
Okay, my aim is like Korin Ishma be'arvis. So, starting out, what is the first mitzvah? We always say that, like when a boy becomes bar mitzvah, we say what's his first mitzvah that he's going to keep is going to be Kriyas Shema. And that's actually not so. That's not true if he lives in Eretz Yisrael, because if he lives in Eretz Yisrael, then the first mitzvah he's keeping is Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. Because the moment that he becomes bar mitzvah, he's already keeping that mitzvah. Okay. So why would you peg this to the time that the Kohanim can eat their truma? It's got nothing to do with Kriyas Shema. Elamai, the Mishnah is coming to teach us a tufa, that we're talking about Tzeis HaKochavim. And Tzeis HaKochavim actually is the shir both of the of when you can say Kriyas Shema, and also of when the Kohen who was a Tvul Yom is not allowed to eat truma, but as soon as Tzeis comes through, then he's had Harev Shemesh, and now he's allowed to eat his truma. Okay. Ad sof ha'ashmora harishona, divrei Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer says he can continue saying Shema until the first ashmora, the first watch. Now the night is divided into 3 watches. So this is the first third of the night, says Rabbi Eliezer. Chachamim omrim ad chatzos. They say no, it's until midnight. You can carry on saying Kriyas Shema. Okay, Rabban Gamliel omer ad sheyaleh amod hashachar. He says no. He says Rabban Gamliel, you could say Kriyas Shema all the way until dawn. Maaseh. Okay, so before we're going to see it's important for us to read this. Okay, Maaseh. Shibao banav mi beis hamishte. So Rabban Gamliel's children came back from a wedding late. Amru lo, and they said, "Oops, Dad, lo karinu Shema. We were so busy being mesameach Hasan v'kala that we didn't say Shema yet. And it's past midnight." Amar lahem lo im lo ala amod shachar. Up until the moment that dawn starts, right? That's from basically from Amod Shachar is like even before first light. Basically, it's but there's a slight lightening in the sky that happens at Amod Shachar. Chayavin atem likros. You still have to say Kriyas Shema. And you can still fulfill the mitzvah of Kriyas Shema. Lo zo bilvad. And not only that, says there's no such thing in the Torah as a shir man that stops at chatzos halayla. It doesn't exist. Okay, and anything where Chachamim said you have to perform the mitzvah before chatzos, for example, eating the korban pesach, or right. So what else is there that goes until Alos Shachar? I think the hekter, right? Hekter ad chatzos mitzvasan ad sheyaleh amod hashachar. Hekter chalavim ve'ebarim, the burning of the fats and the limbs. Mitzvasan ad sheyaleh amod hashachar. even though lechatchila you're supposed to finish it before chatzos, but the mitzvah continues until the morning. Anything that can only be eaten for one day. So, for example, a korban toda has to be eaten within one day, or the zivchei shalmei tzibor, the chatas, the chatas that the kohanim have to eat. That's only can be eaten for one day, that one day and the night that's following. Mitzvasan ad sheyale amod hashachar. Really, the Minatorah, you could eat them all the way until Amud HaShachar, but Chachamim said it must be done by Chatzos. Im kain lama amru Chachamim ad Chatzos. So why did the Chachamim come with this shir ad Chatzos? Kedei laharchik es adam min ha'avera, to prevent people from performing an avera. So for example, with Kriya Shema, you don't want to leave it until that late, because then you're going to miss it altogether. When it comes to eating the Korban Pesach, that has to be eaten before the night is out. If you leave it over and you don't have this shiur that says eat it by chatzos, and you allow people to carry on going until dawn, then there's a chashash that maybe they're going to carry on eating after dawn, and then they're eating nosar, which is for which you're chayav kares. Right. Okay, so that's why we want to distance people from avera. And our first Mishna in Berachos teaches us that that Chachamim put all these gezeres in place to make sure that we don't violate the Torah. Okay.
I mean, I know this. I know this Mishnah, but speaking about Shema, I have a question.
Yeah.
For example, at Rabbi Meyer's shul in Mayor, they always, when they put out the schedule, they'll always give you the schedule for chakras and Mincha and sunset, and then they'll say Marav. Let's say I'm looking at this one. It says Marav is 1824. Okay. Right. But it says ideally to repeat Shema after 1841. Now, I always say Shema before I go to sleep.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm wondering why they say that.
Because you got to have das to be Yotzei Kriya Shema. That's the important. Is that if you, like people go to sleep, when you go to sleep, you're already saying I'm apil Shema, and you're not like. You're saying Shema al Kriya Shema Lamita. You're not saying Shema that I need to fulfill the mitzvah of Kriya Shema. You need to have das for that. When you're in davening, when you're going to Mariv or Shachris, okay, and you're saying as part of the davening, it's clear that you're saying Kriya Shema for the sake of the mitzvah. When you should still still have kavanah, right, that you're trying to be yotzei the mitzvah of Kriya Shema. But if you thought back, you finished and said, hey, I don't know if I had kavanah to say Kriya Shema for the mitzvah. You're in shul for davening for that reason. Your whole action shows that you're there to do the mitzvah. So that's you wouldn't have to repeat it for that. But let's say you davened early and you said Shema before the Zman, and then it's a little risky to wait until Kriya Shema Lamita, because you might not have the das. So you should okay. So you should if you're sitting at your table, it's time for Kriya Shema, let me say it now, because then you're definitely saying it for the sake of the mitzvah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. So let's go to Machshirin.
Machshirin. Okay. We have Vav Aleph.
Yeah.
If someone took his produce up to the roof on account of insects and dew descends on it, it is not included in the law of water as placed. If he intended for this, it is included in the law of water as placed. If a deaf, mute, deranged person or minor took up produce, even if he intended for the dew to fall upon the produce, it is not included in the law of water as placed, for they have an act of but not intent. If someone brought bundles of vegetables, dried figs, or garlic up on the roof so they should remain moist, they are not included in the law of water as placed. And all bundles of vegetables in the marketplace are considered tamei. Rabbi Yehuda declares the fresh ones to say tahor, and says, Rav Meir, why did they rule them tahor? Only because of spittle. All flour and fine flour and the marketplace are tamei. Kilcha, targus, and sagi are tamei in all places. All eggs are presumed to be tahor except for those of merchants of liquids. But if they sold together with dried fruit, they are considered tahor. All fish are presumed to be tamei. Yehuda says concerning a slice of iltus fish, an Egyptian fish that is brought in a box, and a kalulas fish of Spain, they are all presumed to be tahor. Every fish brine is presumed to be tamei, and regarding all of them, an Amma Aretz is trusted to say they are tahor except the fish, because they deposited it within Amma Aretz. Reb Eliezer ben Yaakov says concerning tahor, fish brine into which a minute amount of water fell, it is tame. Okay, all right.
Toros.
All right.
Toros Gimel base.
So let's talk. Horos, Gimel base. Reb Meir says oil is always beginning. Oil is always beginning level of tuma, and the Chachamim say even honey. Shimon Shori says even wine. Regarding a mass of olives which fell into an oven and the oven was kindled, if the mass consists of exactly an egg's volume of olives, the oven is tahor. If the mass consists of more than an egg's volume of olives, the oven is tummy, for as soon as the first drop of oil emerges, it's rendered tummy by an egg's volume of food. If the olives were separate, even if they consist of a saw, the olive is tahor. Regarding one contaminated with corpse, tuma, who squeeze olives or grapes, if the olives or grapes consist of exactly an egg's volume, the extracted liquid is tahor, provided that it does not touch the place of the liquid. If the grapes or olive consist of more than an egg's volume, the juice is tame, since as soon as the first drop emerges, it is rendered tame by an egg's volume of food. If he was a zav or a zava, even if he squeezed only a single fruit, the liquid is tame, for as soon as the first drop emerges, it is rendered tame through being carried by the zava. Regarding a zav who milked a goat, the milk is tame, for as soon as the first drop emerges, it is rendered tame through being carried by the zav. Regarding an egg's volume of food that one placed in the sun and it shrank, and similarly an olive's volume of a corpse, an olive's volume of an animal carcass, or a lentil's volume of a sheretz, and an olive's volume of a pigel, an olive's volume of nosor, or an olive's volume of caleb, they are tahor, and one is not liable on their account for consuming pigel, nosor, and caleb. Okay. If you place them in the rain and they swell, they're tummy, and one is liable on their account for consuming pigel, nosor, and caleb.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
And we are on to Mila. Okay, hey Olive. One who derives a patrutis worth of benefit from hektish, even though he did not deteriorate it, has committed Me'ilah. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva. If we come and say any article that is subject to deterioration, one has not committed Mila unless he deteriorates it, while an article that is not subject to deterioration, once he has derived benefit from it, he has committed Mila. How so? She placed a necklace on her neck and a ring on her hand that she drank from a golden cup. Once she has derived benefit from it, she has committed Me'ilah. If he wore a shirt, covered himself with a cloak, or chopped it with an axe, he has not committed Me'ilah unless it deteriorated. If one plucked hair from a katos when it is alive, he has not committed Me'ilah unless he deteriorated it. And if one plucked hair from the katos when it is dead, once he derived benefit from it, he has committed Me'ilah. If one derived half a pruta's worth of benefit from a consecrated object and deteriorated it by half a pruta, or he derived a pruta's worth of benefit from one object and deteriorated a different object by one's pruta's worth, he has not committed Mila until he derives one pruta's worth of benefit and causes one pruta's worth of deterioration in one object. Good. One more?
Yeah, one more.
All right. There is no commission of Mila after a commission of Mila has already taken place with consecrated objects, except for an animal and temple service vegetables. How so? If one rode upon an animal and his fellow came and rode upon it, and the other fellow came and rode upon it, or if one drank from a golden cup and his fellow came and drank from it, and another fellow came and drank from it, or if he plucked hair from a katos and a fellow came and plucked hair from, and another fellow came and plucked hair, they have all committed Me'ilah. Rabbi says anything that is not subject to redemption is subject to a commission of Me'ilah after commission of Me'ilah.
Okay.
Here. Right, 1, 5, 3, 4. Here we go. Okay. And we have Baba Matia. Aleph Ches. If one finds evaluation documents, support documents, Kalitza certificates, refusals, selection certificates, or any act of court, he should return them. If one finds any document in a leather bag or in a case, a roll of documents or a bundle of documents, he should return them. Now, how many constitute a bundle of documents? 3 fastened one to the other. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says if they are of one who borrows from 3, he must return them to the debtor. If of 3 who borrow from me, he should return them to the creditor. If one found a document among his documents and he does not know who gave it to him, he must remain until Eliyahu comes. If there were receipts among them, he should do what is written in the receipts. Sorry. Some fines belong to him and some he must announce. These fines belong to him. If he found scattered produce, scattered monies, small sheaves in a public domain, round cakes and pressed figs, loaves of the baker's bread, strings of fish, pieces of meat, fleeces of wool brought from their country, bundles of flax, or tongues that purple wool, these belong to him. And these are the words of Reb Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says anything containing something unusual must be announced. How? If he found a round cake and a potsherd was inside it, or a loaf and money was inside it. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says all the utensils need not be announced.
You can carry on one more. Oh, I've lost you.
On to Pesachim.
No, we got
Pesachim.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't see. Oh, you weren't moving. You were like
yeah. I also lost you there. Okay, we've got one more in Bava Metzia.
Okay.
The hackers.
All right. These must be announced if he found produce in a vessel or a vessel just as it is, money in a purse or a purse just as it is, piles of produce, piles of money, 3 coins upon one upon the other, small sheaves in a private domain, loaves of homemade bread, fleeces of wool taken from the craftsman workshop, jugs of wine or jugs of oil. These must be announced.
Okay.
Okay. Pesachim.
Pesachim.
Okay. Aleph, the Gimel Aleph. These must be removed on Pesach. Babylonian kutak, Midian beer, Idum vinegar, Egyptian sesame, dry as broth, cooked dough, and scribe's paste. Reb Elias also says women's cosmetics. This is the general rule. Whatever is a species of grain must be removed on Pesach, and these are in the category of prohibition, but they are not subject to kar. When dough remains in the grooves of a kneading trough, if there is as much as an olive volume in one place, you must remove it. If not, it is null because of its insignificance. And likewise, regarding the laws of contamination, if he objects to it, he interposes, and if he desires it to remain, then it is as though as a trough. Regarding deaf dough, if there is dough similar to it, if he has already leavened it, it is forbidden. How do we separate coolant from contaminated dough on the festival? Reb Eliezer says she should not designate it with the names kala until it is baked. Yehuda ben Sarah says let it be cast into cold water. And Reb Yeshua says this is not the leaven concerning which we are warned of. It shall not be seen and it shall not be found, but he separates it and leaves it until the evening, and if he leavens it, it leavens.
Okay. That's it. Okay.